Yeah, I'm still expecting it to do network. Yeah. Good afternoon. Hello. Is it? Who do we have online? Yeah. So, should we give a space of like,
Lights are coming.
yes, downloading one, or let me start one.
Thank you.
It's the network. You try to send.
You send it.
Mm.
Let me try.
You send the slide.
We sent it.
Okay, okay. Yeah. How big is this slide? How many slides?
17.
Are we slides? Three what? 345. 345. Um, please. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. We are very happy to have everyone here. The section we have now is on the Bridging the Past and the Future, African Information Science in Transition. And for this section, we have three sections. We're going to have one today, one tomorrow, and the last one will be on Friday. The organizers of these sections are John Oluwaseyi Adebayo from Wincosin and Dr. Adeoye Aziz, myself from Federal University of Health Science, and we have Olatunbosun Akole from Bamidele Olumilua University of Education. And here we have majority of our presenters. We'll be having 4 presentations for these sections. And the first presenter, as we have it here, is the role of traditional healing practice in modern counseling outcomes in Lagos State. Continuity in Community and Spiritual Dimension of Mental Health by Maruf Abidogun. We have the person here from Lagos State University of Education. Then the second paper will be on the history and the spread of library and information science in Africa, a call for integration of artificial intelligence in African libraries by Nini Loluwa Adenekon from Babcock University. We also have the next presentation will be the role of technology in promoting cultural heritage in Nigeria, opportunities and challenges. That will be delivered by Ms. Treasure Ebubeche, sorry for that, University of Lagos. You are highly welcome. Then the final presentation will be Evolving Indigenous Knowledge Systems in Nigeria, Trend and Impact of Information and Communication Technology. And that will be delivered by Ms. Ife Damola Olani from Christland Universities. So this is how it goes. We are going to have 15 minutes for each presentation, and let's try to jot down our questions because we want to try to manage time as much as possible. So immediately after the presentation, then we harvest our questions and get responses and contributions from us, from the participants and it. So while we are expecting Mr. Maruf Abidogun, I want to call on the second presenter. As we have, you anything now? What about you? Yeah, don't worry, just you'll get the support, but I don't have a slide yet, so that may be a form of delay. So while we are trying to manage our time, please, I want to take your indulgence of calling Miss Treasure. You can, okay, they are still uploading your slide. It has to be you, please. Yeah. So because of uploading their slide, the one that we have now is on the Evolving Indigenous Knowledge System in Nigeria, Trends and Impact of Information and Communication Technology, which will be delivered by Ife Damola Olaniye. Please, you have the time now. Let's encourage many.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much. And I would like to specially recognize Mr. John Oluwase Adebayo because I get to know of this program through him. So I'm so grateful for his mentorship. I'm sure it's online at the moment. Thank you very much, sir. I'll be talking on evolving indigenous knowledge system in Nigeria, trends and impact of information and communication technology. While looking at what to talk about, I remember I carried out a research on the chronicles of Olumoro in the ancient city of Abeokuta. And while at it, I was so curious because I couldn't find any material online. So I had to go down to the place. And I was told that those people there, that there were some old women there. And as at the time I went to carry out the research, those women were late. So I was able to meet one woman, I think she was about 104 years old. And I met her and she was able to give me all the information I needed. So now I had a challenge. The challenge was now converting that information from the traditional format to a digital format. And that was the reason I came about this topic, evolving indigenous knowledge in system in Nigeria. So understanding indigenous knowledge, the next slide please, understanding indigenous knowledge system. Now, you will agree with me that, knowledge does not exist without the input of the originators, who are the people in a particular community. So it has to do with community, the community. So when we don't acknowledge the indigene of such community, then there's nothing like indigenous knowledge system. So now knowledge in indigenous knowledge system refers to the traditional knowledge, customs and practices unique to Nigeria, and this can be passed down orally, that is traditionally, from one mouth to another, from one generation to another, from one person to another. And of course, when you are getting such information like that, there is every possibility of you losing the essence of that information. And the scope of information, indigenous knowledge system includes agriculture, health, governance, environment, cultural. In fact, when it comes to food, they are deeply embedded in social and spiritual context. And for example, we have the herbal medicine that the people they have advanced. Of course, we have trado medical practitioners now that they have actually, it was because of the information they got, it was because of the indigenous knowledge they got, that was why they were able to apply those information to make it presentable for people that are not within that local community. So then information, indigenous knowledge, I'm so sorry, I'm mentioning information. Indigenous knowledge system is not static, it evolves over time. It evolves over time. And also it reflects the value of the people in that community. It also reflects the experiences of local community. The next slide. So the role of information, indigenous knowledge system in Nigeria communities. We have agriculture, like I briefly mentioned that earlier. Traditional methods like crop rotation, and I think we have something on nano agriculture. So we have traditional methods like crop rotation and organic fertilizer that support sustainable farming. Instead of using all this local manure, it has been upgraded. That's the essence of what I'm trying to say. It has been upgraded. So we have the health care too, local knowledge of medical plants and healing practices benefit community health. Then we have in terms of governance. Next slide. So how has ICT been transforming indigenous knowledge? First is preservation and documentation. All those, like I said when I was introducing my topic, that time I needed an information. I couldn't access it because it was not digitized. So that, how do we now resolve that? ICT has come to bridge that gap by converting those information gotten orally or those information that has been passed down. They have come to help us to, write this up, make it plain, and upload it on our platform. And that is why we have social media. It's an era of social media. So you can easily get the information that you want, document it, write it up, and it's online. So anybody that needs such information, just go online. A few days ago, I was looking for something on. I had a term, every woman combo, and I was wondering, what does every woman combo? What do? I had to go online. I saw a lot of write-up, and that is what ICT has come to. It has actually transformed. That has actually transformed indigenous knowledge. Then we also have innovation and adaptation. We have dissemination and sharing. You're able to share your knowledge with people. You're able to share that secret, that account, that book of accounts that has been handed over to you. You're able to disseminate and share it to people that are interested in knowing about such things. The next slide, please. So with all these advantages, the what has ICT done, what are the improvements, what are this, what are that, of course there's always challenges. There are always challenges, and one of such challenges is digital divide. How do we bridge the gap between the custodian of local knowledge and the custodian of local knowledge in the rural and urban area? What is the synergy? Those people that are really the owner, the originator, why would they be left out? So how do we bridge that gap? It's one of the challenges there. Then we also have cultural authentication. Digitization can oversimplify or strip traditional knowledge and that is it. When they give us such a I think I forgot to highlight earlier that one of the examples of indigenous knowledge that has been passed down is through music, dance, folklore, storytelling, and all of that. Proverbs. You hear people tell you that, oh, don't do this. And you don't know why, right? But the way they will say it, you'll be able to get the tone, you'll be able to get the concept or the context of that. And now when this thing has been digitized, you don't even have an idea of the kind of tone. So sometimes the essence of that culture is nowhere to be found, right? So, and that was one of the challenges. Then the knowledge exploitation. How are we going to ascertain that these are the real owner of this knowledge? How do not say that, oh, this culture, this knowledge, this tradition comes from this particular lineage? Because there's no way we would tell people that, oh, I got this information. Because sometimes when we write, we forget to give credit to those people, the original or the originator of such knowledge. So it is one of concern. There is concerns of intellectual property. There is concerns of copyright. There is concern of unauthorized commercial use. Don't be surprised that you put an information out there, and before you know it, you'll be seeing it, and they would acknowledge you. So how do we bridge this gap? So we also have misinformation risk. Without validation, online indigenous knowledge may be misrepresented, harming community and user, because if you don't know the essence of, now I saw a message on Facebook yesterday when the person posted the person posted ginger, posted cloves, posted some other ingredients, and just said this thing is working wonders. And people started entering the comments and were like, what did you just wrote place all this? What are the importance? What are the relevance? What do we need their information for? Yes, truly it is good, but what is it for? Misinformation, right? So there is risk of misinformation, right? Next slide, please. I'll just briefly list those ones. I think I've talked about it earlier on, but I'll just list it. The positive impact of ICT on indigenous knowledge system sustainability. Preservation is very key. Preservation, how do we preserve this heritage? How do we preserve this culture? Yes, because now once anything you digitize and you upload there, you have easy access to retrieve it anytime you want it. So there is preservation, there is community participation. That is having to have elders, people that are so advanced, the originator, you have them, and you have their involvement in it. Then there is cross-cultural exchange. That is, you are able to share your tradition, you're able to tell people about your culture. You're able to learn from other people's culture. There is that cross-cultural exchange. Then there is innovation. Innovation is there, that you are combining, you are balancing the traditional knowledge with the modern ICT tools. And this is beautifully one of those tools, one of those devices. Social media is one of those beautiful tools. So then the next slide, please. So what are my recommendations for protecting indigenous knowledge system with ICT? Yes, so my recommendation will be like that the government should be able to create policy development. Let there be a policy that guides this thing, policy that will protect the copyrights, that will protect the intellectual properties of the owners, that they should also give policy on ethical use of indigenous knowledge. Yes, then two, digital literacy. Like there should be an improvement ICT infrastructure. There should be a balancing between digital divide, like the local community, the urban area, and the rural area. There should be a balance. And where there will be balance is by getting people skilled up. There should be digital literacy. Also, there should be culturally sensitive digitization. That is, you engage elders, those owners of those knowledge, engage with them. You engage elders and knowledge custodians to preserve authenticity during digital documentation. Then lastly is how do we balance opportunities and challenge. I'm concluding with that. The integration of ICT into indigenous knowledge system in Nigeria present an opportunity and challenges. While digitization of indigenous knowledge system provides preservation and wider dissemination of all this knowledge, provides community empowerment and participation, there is global cultural exchange and innovation. However, we need to address the digital divide that is limiting access. We need to ensure that there is cultural authenticity erosion. We should also ensure that there is a policy that guides intellectual property and also exploitation risk. So, in essence, right, the integration of ICT into Nigeria's system, like I said earlier, present both challenges and opportunities. While digital tools can preserve and expand access to traditional knowledge, concerns about all of these things that I've highlighted earlier, with supportive policy, community involvement, and effort to bridge technological gap, ICT can help ensure that Nigeria's rich indigenous heritage thrives in the digital age for generations to come. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Ifedamola Olani. Thank you very much for the presentation. That was a wonderful one. And thanks for the timely presentation. She only used 12 minutes. So we still have 3 minutes of our time. So I want to ask one of the chair, the convener of this section, in person of Scholar John Adebayo, to speak. Please, can you hear us? Scholar Adebayo.
Perfectly.
Just a brief remark as we comment and we just want to hear you say something before we proceed.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Aziz, for standing in gap. And
hold on, please. We are fixing the mic.
Okay. Shall I go ahead? Shall I go ahead, Dr. Aziz?
Okay, very good. Please, you can proceed now. We can all hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you very much for wonderful moderation, and that was a good, that's a good one. Then great insight, great presentation. I thank you for that presentation. So the point I'm just going to make is that on knowledge exploitation that she mentioned under the challenges of ICT integration with IKS. And myself and my co-researcher will be making a presentation tomorrow. And it's just a challenge that I feel those of us from Africa need to really focus on. Because we have a lot of exploitations going on as far as knowledge is concerned. And because of everything we do on digital platform, like in my research, we say everything has been platformized. Now, one thing we cannot take away from ICT application to wherever we do in this age has to do with data, because data is generated from everything, every human activities and engagement. And when we are not conscious of the data we generate, then we sell ourselves cheap. We make ourselves available to anything. And at the end of the day, as much as we're trying to provide access to our knowledge, we will be at the receiving end by the time we become conscious of the value of the data we are giving out. And I really, as much as we are trying to create that access, and I like what she said, carrying the owners of that knowledge along, because it's still a word of data ownership. It is still a word of data ownership, because that's where the money is. That's where the influence is. That's where the power is. In this current age, the most effective and strong person is the person that has data about you or about what you do. Because with that, they can make predictions and do anything. And finally on that, I like where she concluded, because that's everything comes to policy. Without policy, there is nothing we can do. We have a lot to offer the global world as far as IKS is concerned in Africa. But the earlier we are able to package it using policy, the better. That's a great presentation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much for that review. However, we'll still have the other presenters, their review and intervention or thoughts will come after all our presentation. So out of the 4 presentations that we have, the first one has been done, remaining 3. So do you have a treasure PDFs I sent to you? So, Mr. I'm not sure of the title, Maruf Abidogun. Can you hear us now? Can you unmute?
Yes, Maruf Abidogun.
Yeah, your slide. Can you project from your end?
Sir, I've been battling with the network problem. So, though I could not send the slide, but I have the slide. But so
okay, no problem.
Let me see if I can share it. If not, kindly permit me to make that presentation orally, sir.
Okay, that means you have 10 minutes. So no problem. We'll give you access to share now. We'll give you host, try to share it, but nevertheless, you have access to share. If you have your slide, share it, and while your presentation starts.
Okay, but I cannot make the presentation now. Can I
Please
do it orally?
While you are.
Yes. Okay.
We have loved to have your slide.
Thank you. Yes, I've been trying to do that, but the laptop that I want to use so could not display. I'm trying to use my phone. So to transfer from that laptop to my phone.
Do you have the slide with you? Can you send it to me on WhatsApp?
So let me quickly do that.
We'll call on the next person to present while you are trying to do that.
So let me unmute and I'll do that, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So while he is trying to make sure the slide come up so that we can relate with the presentation, I want to call on the next presenter who will be presenting on the role of technology in promoting cultural heritage in Nigeria. I've sent the slide. Opportunities and challenges by Ms. Treasure. Let them try. It's on PDF. I hope you can display. Yeah, it's deliberate because it was heavy. Yes. Okay. Okay, great.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Treasure Chibogu Ebubechi, a student of Library and Information Science in the Faculty of Social Science, 300 level. And I'm here today because my lecturer has mentored me and prepared me for my presentation today. I'm a first-time attendee of LSA.
Okay.
So my topic is role of technology in promoting cultural heritage in Nigeria, opportunities and challenges. Next slide, please. Before I go straight to my presentation, I have a proverb here. It says the death of an elder is like the loss of a whole library. What this is saying is we all know how old men and women carry information, have information about our past history, our heritage, our culture, and so many things like that. So if this old man or old woman dies without preserving this information, it's like a whole library going extinct. So it shows the loss of cultural knowledge when traditions are not preserved. Technology can help preserve this knowledge for future generations. The next slide, please. The outline of my study is as follows: introduction, statements, literature, and so on. In introduction, Nigeria, as we all know, is often referred to as the giant of Africa, not merely because of its geographical size or economic potential, but because of its unparalleled cultural and ethnic diversity. Nigeria's rich cultural heritage is woven through the legacies of over 250 ethnic groups. Among the major groups are the Hausa Fulani of the north, Yoruba of the southwest, and Igbo of the southeast. Beyond these three major groups are the ethnic minorities like the Nupe, Bibio, Kanuri, Ijaw, etc. Nigeria's cultural heritage is not only preserved through living practices, but also through timeless artifacts. Next slide, please. Like the Benin bronze produced as early as the 13th century by the Edo people of the historic Benin Kingdom. It stands among the most striking testimonies of African craftsmanship. This intricate work, looted by British forces during the punitive expedition of 1897, now rests in museums across Europe and North America. This symbolizes both Nigeria's artistic genius and the painful legacy of colonial exploitation. Their ongoing repatriation has reignited national interest in cultural restitution, preservation, and digital documentation. If these Benin bronzes were digitized, were preserved, by now we would not have been going through series of ongoing repatriation. But it's also a good and beneficial process in Nigeria's cultural heritage preservation. Today, in the face of sweeping globalization, technological innovations have the potential to bridge generational gaps and breathe new life into traditions at risk of extinction. Next slide. Statement of problem. Nigeria, as we all know, possesses a rich and diverse cultural heritage, but many traditional practices, languages, and values are gradually fading due to globalization, urbanization, and limited preservation efforts. Now, technology offers powerful tools for documenting, preserving, and promoting this cultural heritage. It is observed that youths who are active users of technology and future custodians of culture, there is a noticeable gap in our awareness and engagement with technology for cultural preservation. Youths, as we all know, right now, are currently on Instagram, Twitter, and various social media platforms. But these social media platforms are not being used effectively to promote our cultural heritage. There seems to be paucity of research focusing on how Nigerian university students perceive the role of technology in cultural heritage promotion. However, this study seeks to investigate the perspective of University of Lagos students on the use of technology in promoting Nigerian cultural heritage in order to uncover opportunities and address challenges. My next slide is cultural heritage and Nigeria. And according to UNESCO 2003, cultural heritage are attributes from society and inherited from past generations. It encompasses both tangible and intangible heritage. The tangible heritage are the buildings, historic places, monuments, and artifacts, while intangible are folklore, customs, beliefs, traditions, languages, and knowledge. Here are the types of cultural heritage we have in Nigeria. Firstly, we have the oral literature. And the oral literature strives through storytelling, proverbs, myths, serving as vehicles for transmitting history. Secondly, we have performing arts. These are highly significant in Nigerian life. They include music, dance, drama, and intricate instruments like the ogeni, kakaki, and so on. We also have food traditions. Every tradition has the different foods they have, from the amala to the ewedu to the begiri to the ofe sala and so on. They are usually diverse, each region having unique dishes, ingredients, and style of cooking. We also have visual art, and it showcases Nigeria's remarkable craftsmanship, from the beautiful Benin bronze castles of Benin, terracotta sculptures of Nok, masks, textiles, poetry, and traditional architecture from different ethnic groups. Let's not forget festivals held throughout the year where colorful music, dances, and cultural events are showcased. We have festivals like the Eyo Festival and New Yam Festival. Onyema 2016 emphasizes that this extensive heritage is a source of immense pride and a crucial element of national unity among Nigerians. Technologies used in promoting cultural heritage in Nigeria. The historical development of technology began because humans have always sought ways to solve problems and make life easier. Imagine a time when a community relied on drums and town criers to share news. But as one man wanted to reach his family far away, he innovated letter writing. Later, another individual, eager to communicate faster, invented the wired telephone. And as people sought more freedom, wireless phones emerged. This chain of innovation, driven by the desire for better communication, illustrates how technology has evolved to meet our needs. In recent years, digital innovations have played a critical role in preserving and promoting Nigeria's cultural heritage. According to Ikegu, Adozie, and Nweke 2003, technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and digital platforms have transformed how cultural heritage is documented, managed, and disseminated. These technologies help in the creation of virtual museums, digital archives, interactive applications. Opportunities in utilizing technology to promote cultural heritage in Nigeria. The integration of technology to cultural heritage promotion in Nigeria offers transformative opportunities, and they are: firstly, we have wider accessibility. Technology eliminates geographical libraries, allowing people from remote areas across the world to access Nigerian cultural content through digital platforms, mobile apps, etc. So if you're in Lagos State and you want to have access to a collection that is in the city of Abuja, you can access this information while you're in Lagos State. You can access this cultural heritage from this cultural heritage while you're in Lagos State if you have technology. We also have interactive and engaging learning. Oladokun 2024 highlights how immersive technologies such as metaverse create cultural scenes, heritage sites, making learning more experimental. We also have cultural continuity for future generations, and it helps younger generations retain a sense of identity, home and abroad. Challenges in utilizing technology to promote cultural heritage. We have inadequate infrastructure, such as electricity, internet, and weak internet connectivity, and this is more prominent in rural areas. We have insufficient funding. Cultural institutions like museums and libraries lack adequate funding from the government and private sectors. We have lack of skilled manpower and technological expertise. We also have digital divide and unequal access. Methodology. The main objective of this study was to investigate students' perspective on the role of promoting cultural heritage in Nigeria using the university methodology. Next slide. A quantitative approach was adopted, and data was collected through an online questionnaire designed using Google Forms. The questionnaire consisted of structured, closed-ended questions. A total of 38 students from across the 10 faculties of University of Lagos participated in this study. It's still ongoing. Convenient sampling was employed to ensure easy access to respondents. Data was analyzed using descriptive statistics, mainly frequency counts and percentage, to identify patterns in students' views. Major findings. These questions were developed for the process of this study. And the first research question, the findings are the majority of students, 81.6, rated their knowledge is good, while 13.2% rated excellent, and only 5.3% as poor. This shows that students have basic to moderate understanding of Nigeria's cultural heritage. Research question 2 findings that 71% of respondents said cultural heritage is very important, and 28.9% said it is important. This reflects a strong appreciation of cultural heritage, indicating that students are likely to support initiatives to use technology to protect and promote Nigeria's cultural heritage. The research question 3 findings are an overwhelming 97.4% of students believe technology can aid in preserving Nigeria's cultural heritage. And this suggests openness to digital innovations such as digital online museums, interactive platforms as tools for safeguarding cultural values. Research question 4 findings, 68.4% of students said sometimes and 26.3% said very often. These responses show moderate engagement with digital heritage resources. This highlights the need to make digital content more engaging, visible, and accessible. Research question 5. Next slide. Okay. Would you recommend the University of Lagos Museum develop a platform to showcase its collection? And the findings are significant 97.4% of students support the idea of creating a digital platform for museum. The findings from research question 6, 97.4% of students agree that collaboration is necessary. One respondent noted that no one institution can effectively carry out digitization due to lack of funds and expertise. This highlights the importance of partnership among governments, cultural institutions, and tech experts to ensure sustainability and effectiveness. Recommendation. My recommendations are, firstly, develop institutional digital platforms. The University of Lagos Museum and similar institutions should create dedicated digital platforms like websites, mobile apps to showcase cultural collections, thereby making heritage content more accessible to students and the public. Secondly, integrate cultural technology into education. Courses on digital heritage and cultural innovation should be included in university curriculum. This will build the next generation of digital heritage champions. Lastly, encourage stakeholders' collaboration. Universities, cultural institutions, tech companies, and government agencies should collaborate to pool resources, expertise, and funding for digital heritage initiatives. Collaborative projects will be more suitable and far-reaching. My conclusion, cultural heritage is the heartbeat of a nation. In today's digital world, preserving that heritage is no longer just a cultural responsibility, but a technological necessity. This research reveals that young Nigerians understand the value of their heritage and believe in the power of technology to protect and promote it. Yet, where technology holds promises, challenges like inadequate funding and lack of skilled support persist. If not addressed, we risk losing the very traditions that define us. It is time for institutions, communities, and innovators to act boldly. Conclusion. My last personal conclusion is that technology is no longer a luxury, but a tool for cultural survival. For in preserving our past through innovations, we secure the pride and identity of future generations. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Treasure Ebubechi. Thanks so much for the wonderful presentation. Because of our time, we will call on the next presenter, Mr. Maruf Abidogun. Are you there, sir? Can you please unmute? Mr. Maruf Abidogun. Okay, you can
Yes,
hear us.
moderator, sir.
Okay, so are you ready to make your presentation?
I've sent my slide to the
Yes,
to the group, sir.
Acknowledge, received.
Yes, I've sent my slide as requested to the group. I hope you have seen it, sir.
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Do
sir.
you want us to project it from here, or you want to project it from your side?
Yes, you can play. You can project it from your hand. It will be easier for me, sir.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much, sir.
Yeah, the fear is those who are online will not be able to follow too. The last one. Yeah, this one. Yes. So we are trying to make sure the slides comes up, and please let's be noting our question. And the audience, please be noting your question while we make others. Can we continue? Okay. So Mr. Maruf will be presenting topic on the role of traditional healing practice in modern counseling outcomes in Lagos State, continuity in community and spiritual dimension of mental health in Lagos State. So please, while we are trying to manage our time, we want to seek your indulgence to start your presentation while the cheese goes up.
Okay.
You have the floor, sir.
Moderator, can I start now?
Yes, please start.
Okay. My paper to give this short preambles. What prompts these particular topics? As a guidance and counselor, I've observed severally that there are certain issues which a mother counseling cannot undo. And then in mother counseling, based on the ethics, you are not advised to give a medication. And in an Africa setting, there are so many things that result to mental issue. Particularly in Yoruba land, there is what we call offer, which means attack. Most of the people that are having most of these mental health issues, the genesis is from what we call offer or attack. And then the mother counseling cannot undo such a thing. Now in the 21st century, where mental health is a global concern, particularly in cultural diverse context. In Nigeria, mental health is deeply tied to community and spiritual practice. You know, the belief of so many people is that when you are being attacked with this offer, is beyond medical attention. Even though the modern counselor cannot handle it, and the individual concerned will need somebody to integrate with, to talk with, to collaborate with. Then the modern counselor find it difficult to handle such a case. So it is now imperative for us to integrate the mother healing into modern counseling. Before now, the community dimension have been very helpful, while the spiritual dimension have been very helpful. Because of the negligence on these two dimensions, it has prompted most people to patronize where it is not authorized. Traditional healings offer cultural resonance and holistic care. This particular study examined how this practice influenced counseling in Lagos State. The background to this particular research was that the traditional healing combine both community and the spiritual dimension, while modern counseling, it has to be evidence-based but culturally limited. The studies are both theory and the multicultural counseling theory. The conceptual framework are traditional healing that has to do with herbal medicine, divination, rituals, and so on and so forth. Then the modern counseling also involve the CBT, psychotherapy, client-centered approach. Then there's a need to integrate both traditional healing and modern counseling. The integration should allow mutual respect, collaboration, and cultural adaptation. Community and spiritual dimension is very quick for recovery and resilience. You know, in the past, when people have certain challenges, mental problem that has to do with depression, anxiety, you know, the elders in the community, they will rally around, they will discuss or talk with that individual, share their story, share their experiences, and that each individual that is being affected with that such a mental issue will recovery, and he or she will gain resilience for further endeavors. The objectives and research question in these studies are, the objectives of this study is to determine the traditional healing's role, 2, to assess the integration impact, 3, to identify the barriers to collaboration. The research questions are, how do traditional practice influence counseling? 2, what roles does community and spiritual play? 3, what challenges hinder collaboration? The methodology used, the descriptive survey research design was used. The population of the studies encompass traditional healers, counselors, and clients. The sample of 200 respondents was used with sampling technique, purposive sampling technique. The instrument used is traditional healing counseling skill. Then the data collected was analyzed with descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, that is the chi-square. The reliability of the instrument was obtained using Krober-Shaffer is a 0.81. The result. The result on the role of traditional healing. The respondents generally agree that traditional healing practices are effective, culturally accepted, and play a crucial role in mental health care in Lagos State. The consistencies mean above 4.0 shows strong endorsement of relevancy. The result on spiritual and community dimension. There was a strong agreement that community and spiritual elements enhance counseling outcome. The weight mean of 4.25 indicates a broad support for integrating this dimension in therapy. The challenges to collaboration between the system. The respondents agree there are considerable challenges to integration. These challenges include lack of regulations, stigma, absence of clear policy. The mean value suggests a call for structural solution. The result obtained 4.07 indicate that there should be a structural solution. Discussion and the conclusion. The traditional practices significantly improve mental health outcome. Community and spirituality are essential healing components. Integration leads to more effective and cultural grounded therapy. Recommendation based on the finding. 1, to develop integration policies that will accommodate both traditional healing and modern counseling. 2, to train the counselor in cultural competency. 3, to create a collaboration platform that we give a room for both the traditional healers as well as a mother counseling, where necessary, a mother counselor can refer to traditional healer. Then 4, promote awareness to reduce a stigma. It has been noticed that many individuals that have a mental issue, there is this a stigma attached to them. There should be a promote awareness to reduce that stigma. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you so much for the very brief and timely presentation. You spent 6 minutes for the presentation, and that is really awesome because of our time. You have made a good presentation, and please stay close to your system as we are going to ask questions immediately after the last presenter. So please, let's be noting our questions as we progress. We expect the next presenter to come up now, who will be presenting on the history and the spread of library and information science in Africa, a call for integration of AI in African literatures, which will be presented by Nilolawa Adenekon from Babcock University. Dr. Nilolawa, please. Thank you.
Planning on the same protocol, my name is Adenekon Fauzia from Babcock University. I'm a librarian from Federal University of Agriculture and Health. Basically, the topic is on, as it has been stated, the field of library science is also known as library study, the multidisciplinary study that houses the management, information technology, education, and all other aspects of practices. It uses information, it gathers knowledge, preservation, and dissemination of information. Most of the time, library bridges the gap in education as supported by the UNESCO SDG 4, Sustainable Developmental Goal. This paper examines various literatures on history of library and information science, origin of library and information science, spread of library and information science in Africa, computerization and digitization of library, and integrating AI in every facet. It also offers some strategy to adopt in training and developing librarians in AI usage. Library have been in existence since antiquity. Integrating library to library, that's the third slide. Integrating AI to library science could improve the administration and operation of libraries, and thereby improving the idea and methods the librarians use in their various library operations. It is a well-known fact that AI has come to stay, but not to displace the librarians from their primary role as information providers and knowledge disseminators. The field of library science, as it is known that it is multidisciplinary, we have ranges of library services from the reader services to acquisition and cataloging of library materials, which improve the, globally, ancient foundation of libraries in Africa. Globally, library operations have been greatly improved by the development of AI, automation of AI generation metadata. The earliest evidence of organized knowledge management in Africa emerged from Egyptian civilization 3000 BC, where temple libraries housed medical, astronomical, and religious texts in papyrus scrolls. The Library of Alexandria, which became the first major knowledge center, employing systematic cataloging under the Callimachus Institute, which established 3 core library principles. First, the classification system. Second, the preservation of techniques. And third, the professional roles. There are 4 basic objectives: the origin of library and information science, the spread of library and information science, the computerization and digitization of every facet of libraries, and integration of AI in African libraries. as it is well known that the Latin name Libera, which means collection of books, and Liberian, which means container of books, form together to become the word library. Other contemporary languages borrow from ancient Greek to form the library, like the Bibliotheca, Mesopotamia in Nile, Africa. Writing originated from the first cradle civilization before 3000 BC. The need for organizing and conserving knowledge became apparent in ancient civilization, marking the beginning and history of library science. Development of library and information science spread in Africa with deep historical roots, influenced the ancient civilization, colonial legacies, and post-independent education reforms. The growth of LIAs in Africa was shaped by the effort of the colonial addressing the information route. Ancient foundation of LIAs describe the earliest evidence of knowledge from the Egyptian civilization, like using the temple, library, household, medical, astronomical, and religious texts of papyrus. Historical development of LIS in Africa continued. Library was established in 1889 in Johannesburg, in South Africa. It became a freeland library in 1923. The Tom Jones Library in Lagos, which was first founded as a subscription in 1910, served as the imperator of public libraries. The Lagos Library run the council until Tom Jones combined it in 1946. Over time, the rules of library is like a hub that enlightened dissemination of British culture. Later known, libraries are known in the city of Ibadan, Enugu, Kaduna, Kano, and Benin. UNESCO sponsored a symposium on the establishment of public library in Africa, which boosts the growth of public library in both Nigeria and other African countries in 1953, which happened in University College of Ibadan, Nigeria. The computerization and digitization of every facet of libraries. The digitization transformation of library in the western part of the Africa, adopting the nomenclature information science. The rise of digital libraries, open access repository, and the ICT integration transformed the LIS practices in Africa. The contemporary African libraries like the Ghana Library Authority digitized oral tradition. Initiatives like the African Digital Library promote access to scholarly resources. This is the beginning of the second revolution of information, that is digitization, which happened in 1870 in Germany. It's also called a technological revolution. The third industrial revolution also sparkled the beginning of IT and computerization in library. Most of the time, the library resources are automated, so the computer then were very large, but at the same time, the library operations begin with computer, with introduction of computer and some other computer services. This, as we all know, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. We are moving to the fifth, which is AI. There are some things that we need to know about AI as Liberians. We know that it cannot displace us from our work, but we just need to adjust to the knowledge to improve on our AI knowledge by having technical proficiency in AI tools ability. There are various AI tools that we can apply to our library services. We need to also understand the knowledge of metadata standards, as in having the knowledge to be able to use this for our cataloging in the library environment. Then we need to have the ethical decision in the sense that if you want to use AI generated document or tools for the library, you should know that it can have a kind of bias or privacy, it can intrude our privacy. Then it also enhances collaboration skill and continuous learning. In the sense that having AI to a librarian in UI can collaborate with the one in South Africa, having it's called information repository, a lot of turnitin like that. We have a lot of things that can make us to collaborate together as Liberians. So the recommendation made is that collaboration with foreign libraries, Nigerian libraries ought to seek partnership with foreign libraries to share resources, knowledge, and training, such as collaborating, open access resources, and having ethical guidelines. We all need to be a part of the industrial growth, which is the AI now. If library professionals want to remain relevant, adequate skills is required of us to move with the new trends in technology in Nigeria, in Africa, libraries as much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. Now we have had the four presenters who have really made a very great presentations, and now is time to ask questions and also some brief contributions to what they have already discussed. So I will want us to just review our memory as according to the book we have, the first presenter was supposed to be Mr. Maruf, who has presented, and his presentation was the role of traditional healing practice in modern counseling outcome in Lagos State, continuity in community and spiritual development of mental health. He made his presentation, which I know that we will have one or two questions to ask. Also, the second presentation was on history and the spread of library and information science in Africa, a call for integration of AI in African libraries, presented by Dr. Niilola Adenekon from Babcock University. And also we have the presentation made by Ms. Treasure Ebubechi on the role of technology in promoting cultural heritage in Nigeria, opportunities and challenges. And finally, we have a wonderful presentation also from Mrs. Ife Damola Olaniyi. And our presentation was on evolving indigenous knowledge system in Nigeria, trends, impact of information and communication technology as was presented. So now it's time for us to ask our questions. In order to manage the time well, we're having less than 20 minutes to the end of this section. So please, let's raise our hand. Let me take some count while we have So our question, observation, contribution, recommendation as regard the presentation so far. Okay, number one. Okay, Dr. Alabi.
Let me start by commenting our presenters, all the people here and the person that joined us. Particularly, I want to start with our students, our own very student, fellowship. I want to say well done for the brilliant presentation. Very proud of it. I hope they can do so much and to see how we can do justice to it. And I'm listening. So well done to all that presenters. But my question, the question I had is for our last presenter. What's possibly the history of diabetes, and she encouraged us to integrate artificial intelligence into diagnostics. We are already in the field of industrial revolution, and these technologies are there with us, no doubt, and they are going to remain with us. The only thing is we now begin to see them metamorphose into different ones, because I know that the world is going. We will soon begin to have some unimaginable things happen in our world. And so everybody should expect. But I was expecting that because of your presentation, you are going to take us through some of the artificial intelligence. To find out some story that's likely to embrace. So maybe now that it's question and answers, tell us some of this artificial intelligence that I think like this and how they can reach out. So in terms of services.
Okay, please note the question. Yes, thank you so much for that. Let me also make my remark as regards all the presenters. No doubt the perspective of their presentation really laid a very good foundation for non-librarians. All the presenters, right from the first presenter who presented on indigenous knowledge, she took us through what the meaning of indigenous knowledge, the role of libraries in ensuring effective indigenous knowledge and some of the challenges that we face. And that's a very good one. So the issue that we have now is issue of policies that we may ensure sustainability of our indigenous knowledge and that of copyright and ethical use of digitized indigenous knowledge. The second presenters also did a marvelous work on the issues that has to do with museum digitization or digital preservation of our artifacts. So there are a lot of questions that regards that is popping in my mind too, because when we talk of artifacts, these are really something we can see, we can handle, we can feel the texture. But now when they are digitized, how are we going to feel those treasure? But nevertheless, it's still a form of preservation. They are presenter on the mental health. That was a good presentation, and from the topic we expected a lot, and you gave us so much. We really appreciate that. But to make the work better, we thought you are going to conceptualize mental health, because when we talk of mental health, nobody is outrightly prone mentally healthy. Even a study I've seen that at least 1 second or 2 seconds on a daily basis, one can forget something and the like. So that's also a issue of mental health. And we have those who have crossed over to the other side in terms of craziness and the like. So if you come up from your conceptual model of the perspective of your study, it will really help us to understand and flow with you properly. We know that the essence of all the presentation is to make it better and make it become a paper that is relevant for publication. Also, you made mention of sample size, which is like 200. I hope is because of time, you have it in your full paper. What categories have traditional healers, what percentage are counselors, what percentage are so those things need to really pinpoint and raise. And also, so the last presenter on that's Dr. Adeneko on AI. We really appreciate as the topic says the history of LIS and the spreading, and she actually did very well on that. So as the question have been posed, some of the AI tools, which is very good. I want her to answer briefly, and immediately we go to those who are online to also lend their voice, as we have just 10 minutes to the end of the section. And we also love that we can have a good photograph at the end of this section. Thank you.
Thank you. The AI, we have several AI tools for librarians. There are several AI tools for library operation. We have several AI tools for the research work too. There are about some AI tools that are used to like turn it in the library. We use it to check the amount of plagiarized work of our researchers. That is an AI tool. Also, in the library, the AI tool that we can use for our own personal, maybe checking for our grammar and all that in our research, can use Grammarly to check for the type of to check the grammatical problem that we have to correct it. Also, there are some other AI tools that we have apart from Grammarly that can improve the research engagement of librarians. We have Arrest. We have other AI plagiarism checker too. We have citation generator and assist the librarian to be able to generate references of any papers and papers that written or projects or tests for students of our own personal paper. Then you can use Ask PDF as a writing tool to be able to write or get few notes. You can use Jenny, Science Base, and notes for that too, for writing in the library. We have some paraphrasing too, although like Qboat and Scope. Though if you feel like using it as a librarian, then for you now. Also, we have some data management generated tools that you can use in the library. As we know that the AI tool is not the basic tool that's meant for librarians. It's just to make sure that their work, to streamline their work, to make it easier and faster so that they can engage in some other library engagements. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I know it's a lifelong learning and discussion continue. So we can always reach out online. The email of presenters and the chairs of the section is here. We can always reach out. So let me quickly have the thoughts of those who are online. We have just less than 10 minutes. Let's have you, our scholar John Adebayo. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, Dr. Aziz?
Vividly, sir. Please.
Okay, good. So, thank you. So, great presentations, everybody. This is really, really, really great. And just my thoughts before I forget, Dr. Aziz, you may note this for our subsequent panels, that we may have to make it a policy on our panel to ensure that we give a quota to LIS students that want to present at LSA subsequently. This is a great one. And I will be making a personal commitment to their attendance as well. So I will be making a personal commitment. So just a quick one. Treasured had a very good presentation, a 300 level student. That was a very, very good one. Thank you for that. She laid much emphasis on data migration, on digital heritage. Then I see that by the time we digitize our IKS in whatever format, we are talking about data transportation. Our data will move from one point to another. And this is one of the things I see as it has been established by different presenters. There is a need for collaboration in this era. We just have to talk about it. The reason we have to do this is that data, I keep saying, is a big thing right now. And, every country, every continent, usually we have policy that guides data migration. And that's why we see big tech, our big tech, you talk of Microsoft, Google, Meta, and all that, involving in litigations so much is because there are things you can do with data in different contexts. And in Nigeria, our Data Protection Act was signed in 2023. You can imagine what has happened to our indigenous knowledge since then. So when you are planning to publish your work, please make a case for that. Without strong policy, we may not be able to do more. For Dr. Moruf Abidogun, great presentation. When we were reviewing this, we were almost like a bit of counseling, a bit of spirituality and all that. We are all, sir? But we are all Africans. Good presentation. I was just maybe when Dr. Aziz was talking the other time, because this may go for publication. Now, when you talk about 200 respondents and you have 3 categories, it will have been beautiful if you also state how many respondents were traditional healers, how many respondents were counselors, and how many respondents were clients, and justification for that as well. Then your instrument, was it adopted, or was it it will be good if you also state something on that. My only question for you in this regard is that the clients, because you used purposive sampling, how were you able to identify the clients, sir? So that was my question. And the last presentation by Dr. Adeneko, we cannot overestimate that presentation. And all I will say is, the earlier we do this, the better. And the truth is, our curriculum, generally in Africa, needs complete overhauling. In this age of AI, we need complete overhauling, because it will shock us, the application of that AI embedded into current curriculum globally. And we still continue to advocate, beg, and appeal to our professors, our leaders, that our curriculum need complete change. We cannot talk about AI without talking about AI literacy. Our normal, usual information literacy cannot do what is happening now. And I have a presentation at American Library Association next week. I'm making a proposal to the global world on revising the current framework that we have for AI literacy. So thank you for that presentation of taking us through the memory lane of how LIS has evolved. Thank you. And thank you so much, Dr. Aziz, for the good moderation. Thank you, sir.
So thank you. Yes, thank you so much. We have other people online who was really acknowledge those who joined us online. I've attended a lot of other sections, but now we're having close to 10 people, or exactly 10 people who joined online. That is highly great. In person of Raphael, I acknowledge the presence of Mr. Alfred, and that of Dr. Julia Olaleke, and Scholar Michael Onua Happiness, and also Dr. Olalewe Israel Oyedeji. And I also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Oyekanmi Gabriel. We really appreciate your participation in these sections, and we actually anticipate that you will join us in subsequent one. As I said earlier, we have 3 sections for this particular call, and the other one will come up tomorrow, which proper announcement will be made on all other social media platforms, as we can see in our book, and also the last one will come up by Friday. So I want to acknowledge all our presenters. You have really done well. You have made this section to be a great and a successful one. We wish you success as you go on. Then all our attendees, the other LIS students who are here, we hope we are very positive that we are going to see more of you by next NLA conference, NSA conference. Please, let's make sure we participate. And all other person present, do we have any other final thoughts before we call it a wrap on this section? Final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thought actually is to please plead with all the presenters that a knowledge kept may not do the society much good. Let's freshen up wherever feedback we've got. Unfortunately, we do not have enough time, but since we are all working with colleagues and our mentors and all that, please get all these presentations published. The more we create awareness about what we do in our country, in our continent, the more people get to know about it. So we've had a very good time today, and please perfect everything and get it published. Thank you. That's my final thought.
Thank you very much. Please, a final round of applause for all of us. So now let's have a brief photograph at the front here while we close the section.
How are we going to show?
Oh, snap you.
You are on a projector, so you definitely show.
We have see online attendees, please. You can also put on your camera.
Yeah. Yes,
Dr. Lalere, Madam Happiness, Uncle Kediji,
yeah.
Dr. Raphael, Dr. Alfred.
We can have some people at the back, yes. Let's have those that have additional height. According to the low one.
I'll drop.
Okay. Can we have it now? Okay. Set.
Yeah, come here.
Can you we are
Yes.
Okay.
Can I say 2025?
80. Thank you.
Be careful with your call too. Hello, Mama. Hello, Marujo. Watch this code.
I will think